log into Instagram, you can go to our Facebook, either on LCF or Vecinos. Hey, Michelle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Civics Chat. How are you doing today, Victoria?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to continue this series. This is a very interesting series, and I feel like that is necessary, how we always say in every episode. So, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for asking. I hope that everybody watching tonight is doing well and is safe and is healthy. Today, we are continuing yet another installment of Civics Chat, the Ballot Box Series, where we're going to go over every single position that you'll be voting for in November. We know that so many of y'all go and vote, and you look at maybe your absentee ballot, or you look at, that when you go and vote in person, you look at the computer and you're like, what is all of this? So Remember, every Tuesday, we're going to be going over all these positions, making sure you guys know what you're voting for, which is super important. Today, we are going to go over the sheriff, and we're also going to go over the Clerk of Superior Court.
Yes. For today's episode, we have a lot of useful information that, I feel like a lot of people don't know about, and I'm really excited to educate you guys, and hopefully you guys are interested and will tune in for the rest of our Ballot Box series for November 3rd. Remember, that's the day of election, November 3rd. Okay, Michelle, so let's get started. You want to talk about the sheriff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the sheriff is a highly trained law enforcement officer with legally mandated responsibilities, such as enforcing Georgia laws, court duties. So sheriffs also maintain safety and security in the court. They serve court papers and perform other court-related duties. So, anything that has to do with any kind of court procedures, they are responsible for that. They have 4-year terms. What are they really in charge of? So officially in the county or independent cities are responsible for keeping peace and law enforcement with the law, which was very interesting to me. And then how many sheriffs? There are actually multiple sheriffs in the state of Georgia. And then it's 159 sheriffs. So one for each county.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we have a lot of them.
Exactly. We do have a lot of them. So each county, the person who's going to be on my ballot is different from the person that's going to be on maybe many of our viewers. So, the qualifications is they have to at least be 21 years old. They must be a U.S. citizen. They must possess at least a high school diploma or a GED. They must possess a valid driver's license, including no DUI convictions. If they have been in the military or have been, they can't be in the military or be honorably discharged. My bad, sorry guys. And then possesses no felony or family violent conviction. So they obviously have to have a clean record, which totally makes sense for this kind of position. How can they make sure the law is being respected if they can't do it themselves? So that completely makes sense. Just a quick reminder, if any of y'all have any questions or if you guys have any comments, let us know in the comments down below. We would love to see what questions you guys have.
Yeah, and we always like to put in the qualifications in our Ballot Box series, just in case, you guys are like, oh, what should I do? I'm thinking about doing this. Like, hey, that kind of sounds like something I'm interested in, and you might be able to run for sheriff one day.
100%. Exactly. I agree. I think that the first step of change is really for people from different perspectives and for there to be diversity in positions of power. That's super important. So, we want you guys to know this information. And then how are they chosen? So the way that the sheriff is chosen is that they are elected rather than hired or appointed. We get to vote for the sheriff.
Yes.
So
that was really surprising surprising, to be honest. Like, the whole time I thought they were appointed or they were hired to be a sheriff. Like, no, we choose the sheriff. So I think it's a position that we don't expect to have power over. But, the sheriff is like, we pick it, they work for us. So, do your research when you go to the polls.
Exactly. And, with so much happening with law enforcement, it's very important for people to know and understand that we have the power. Whether you're happy or not, you have the power to express how you feel in the ballot box. So that's also very important for everybody to know, because like I said in the beginning of the show, I've gone and voted plenty of times before, doing what we do now. And I go up and I see all these positions and all these people, and I have no idea what they do or who they are. So that's very common. And, for anybody who's watching, you're not the only one. It's actually very common for people to feel that way.
Yeah, especially when I feel like first-time voters for sure. I remember my first time voting, and I was like, "What? Why is this so long?"
Yeah, exactly.
To be in and out, to be honest.
Right.
It was a very surreal experience for sure, though, and eye-opening, because I was like, "Wow, there's so many positions that I didn't even know existed," and they didn't teach me about the sheriff in school. You know what I mean? So you really have to do your own research. And now, like, as I'm older and me and Michelle are doing this type of work, I realize how important it is to do so and to really go in there knowing who you're going to vote for all positions.
Absolutely. Or at least get some information. Remember, you can look at a sample of your ballot. If you go to the My Voter page, which is the Secretary of State website, where you can look up all your information, all your voter registration information. So that's very important for you to see who's running in your district. A lot of people, for example, the sheriff in my county is an incumbent and nobody's running against them. So, a lot of these positions you'll see, for example, the sheriff in Fulton County, I'm not sure, I know that you live in DeKalb, Victoria, but, maybe you can have two people running against each other. Many cases, it's just one person who keeps on getting reelected and nobody challenges them because people aren't very familiar with these opportunities, right? And people nobody really pays attention or knows that a tax commissioner or a public service commissioner or a sheriff, and they don't understand these positions of power and how important they are. And that's why the same people get elected again and again and again.
And that's why we also like to tell you guys about what you need in order to become a sheriff or a superior clerk
of the court, for sure.
Clerk, So stuff like this is really important because, like I said, I didn't even know we chose our sheriff. So I'm sure a lot of people don't know that is a position in which they are elected by the people. So, they probably just think they're going to get hired into it one day or something, even if they do desire,
Exactly.
So you really have to look into it. A lot of it just has to do with getting informed.
Right, exactly. So, Victoria, tell us about the Clerk of Superior Court.
Okay, so the Clerk of Superior Courts, these are clerks that are the official record keepers of the county. So they receive and maintain criminal and civil court filings and serve as custodians of the county land and property records. Usually their term is about 4 years, and we also have one for each county. So we do have, in Georgia, we have 159 clerks of superior courts. And so some of their duties, they have a lot of responsibilities. They have administrative, judicial, real and personal property responsibilities. So that includes anything like the accounting for the funds paid in the registries of the court, issuing, filing, and maintaining a lot of the records, the registration, and military discharge records. They also do filing, storing, retrieving civil and criminal court records. They transmit a lot of the dispositions to the Georgia Crime Information Center and the Department of Driver Services. Just like every day-to-day things that I didn't even know they were in charge of, They also do stuff like maintaining accessible real and personal property indexes. They transmit deed data and images to the Georgia Superior Court Clerk's Cooperative Authority. So they do a lot. I did not realize they did this much. They have a big responsibility, and just things that I wasn't even aware that they were in charge of, you know?
Well, yeah, and it's super important
really
to point out, like, records and documents and all these things are very important. You know, if you need some kind of record that will impact your life, you know, it's very important for that to be well maintained, especially for private property or even a case, etc. That's super, super important. So, and we get to choose that person who gets to maintain all those records.
Yeah, and they kind of also go hand in hand with other positions. So, you know how earlier we were talking, in order to qualify to become a sheriff, you need to have like a clean record. So, and if you have ever been into like the military, a clean, honorably discharged. So they actually keep files of that and maintain all of the records for that as well. So if you're trying to be a sheriff, guess who's going to be filing and maintaining those records? It's going to be the Superior Court clerks.
Exactly. They're all interconnected. And I actually wanted to take this opportunity to show everybody that is joining us for Civics Chat. My absentee ballot actually just came in. And I wanted to show, just so people can expect, now that we finished with the with both the positions that we wanted to talk about, you know, this is basically what we're expecting. So this is the absentee ballot and what you can expect when you go and check your ballot. So this is the front, and then this is the back. And what you're going to notice too here is that in the middle for the Senate, it is a special election, which I found, of course, you know, I was expecting that because Kelly Loeffler, she was appointed. So that means that her seat is up for grabs. So when you guys see that all these positions, when you go and you see your ballot, expect that. And then also expect the positions that we talked about today. Like I mentioned, so the sheriff, this is a great example of what I mentioned earlier. So here I'm actually showing our Facebook friends. It is an incumbent. Nobody is running against them. I'm gonna show our Instagram fam right over here. Nobody, and then look at all these incumbents. Nobody is running against them. So, you know, it's super important for people to get out there and know that this is out there for them and for them to possibly run themselves, for that to change, right? And for us to be represented. So, of course, if anybody has any comments or questions, please let us know.
Yeah, and you can also check, you can click for your sample ballots at my voter page. It's really easy. I just logged in right now, and it shows you, it doesn't take that long, as you can see. So let's see, for my county, yeah, mine is also an incumbent for the Clerk of Superior Courts. And for sheriff, I actually have, there's two running. We have Harold Dennis and Melody and Maddox. And I know you said you have incumbent as well, right?
Right.
For the sheriff.
And nobody is running in Fulton County. So just know that each county is going to be different. Yes. You know, so, and that's, you know, on top of the fact that we are nonpartisan, we're not going to be necessarily, you know, talking about any kind of person that's running. What we do want you to know is, you know, in a lot of these races, nobody is running against them. But in DeKalb, there is a race, but in Fulton, there isn't. So that's super important for you guys to know and to look up who's running in your specific county.
Yeah.
For sure. So go ahead.
Sorry.
No, actually, what I wanted to share with everybody is that next week we are actually going to talk about the proposed constitutional amendments and the statewide referendum. We are going to have Samuel Aguilar from Forward. He is an amazing lobbyist and policy worker, and he's going to explain to us the House resolutions and the House bills that are on the ballot. We are actually going to be voting for a couple of things to pass into law, which is super important for everybody to know and for people to understand what they are voting for. So please join us next Tuesday. We are definitely going to talk about very important things.
Yes, and since we will have a special guest, we are actually not going to be going live on Instagram, so you guys can follow, like our page, Latino Community Fund on Facebook or Vecinos Buford Highway, where we will be live since, we can have a special guest. So we will not be on Instagram, so tune in on Facebook at 8 p.m. on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for joining on this week of Civics Chat. If you want us to cover any kind of topic or have any questions about our ballot box series or anything that's going to be on your ballot this upcoming November, please let us know. Don't be shy. We read the comments. We want to know what you think and what you want to hear. So I will see you guys next Tuesday. Remember, next Tuesday at 8 p.m.
Yes, thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Michelle.
Bye.